everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joey the Veiled Cottage Witch, and today is another episode of my magical plant series. Today is a big one. We're going to talk about dandelions. Not just the flowers, not just the roots, but the seeds as well. There's a ton of folklore, there's a ton of medicinal properties, and lots of magical properties as well. So let's dive into dandelion. So the Latin name is Pteracaxicum officinale, and there are tons of comical folk names. So let's get to it. Pissabed, Wetabed, Lion's Tooth, Face Cloth, Cankerwort, Blowball, Priest's Crown, Puffball, Swine Snout, White Endive, Wild Endive, Weather Clock, Time Teller, Clock Flower, and Devil's Milk Pail. I think that one is my favorite. So the folklore is never ending, you guys. I had to put a limit on it because I could go on and on and on. So I used my 3 favorite authors for folklore. I used Corinne Boyer, Roger J. Horn, and Fez Inkwright for the folklore. I did not go online. Yay! For the folklore because I just found so much in my own library. For once, none of my favorite authors let me down. So yeah. Oh, I realized that my little microphone was covered up. So there we go. Okay, so the dandelion is in the aster family, and although despised by many gardeners because of its tenacity and deep tap roots, since ancient times was a very well utilized plant. Not a weed, but a plant. The dandelion's ancient symbolism is that of the sun. Its disc-shaped golden flowers are very sensitive to the sun and light, opening and closing accordingly. And here's some beautiful pictures of the flowers in case you've never seen a dandelion. I thought, do we really need pictures? But yes, of course we do. Its fiery, rich golden color is an unmistakable sign of spring in April when lawns are covered in large golden heads opened between rain showers. Now here in Arizona, especially where I live, we don't get dandelion very often. We barely even get grass unless we plant it specifically. So I don't get very many dandelions in my yard, but I do see them rarely in other people's yards, especially in the city. But I'm out here, the hedge witch I am, on the outskirts, so I don't get to see them very much in the wild. So when I go to a friend's house, I'm like, oh my gosh, dandelion! I get really excited. So the comedic names Pissabed and Wetabed are referenced in ancient herbals as early as the 1600s due to its diuretic properties and to the staining pigment in the bright golden flowers. However, dandelion's most commonly known use in folk magic stems, pun intended, from its round tufted heads of seeds that emerges after the flower has closed and matured. So here we go with another pic here. In folklore, the blowing of the dandelion seeds when making a wish is performed with the goal to blow as many of the seeds as possible into the wind to encourage the desired outcome to come to fruition. So you blow the seeds, kind of like making a birthday wish, blowing out as many candles as you can. You blow out as many seeds as you can into the wind. Now, in divination, the number of seeds left on the head after blowing is interpreted in a variety of ways. So you get yes or no answers due to many or few seeds remaining. So, you get that with the number of days until a specified event will occur, or the number of years left in one's life. Now, the dandelion is a great oracle. The flower would tell children at what age they would marry, how long they had to live, how many children they would have. And one way you could use the plant for this purpose, in order to find out the letter of the last name of the person that you will marry, you would blow on a dandelion seed head, and with each puff, recite the alphabet. The last letter to be spoken when all the seeds have dispersed after blowing, you would find your answer. So I used to do this with an apple, and I would twist the apple seed, and you would say the alphabet, and whatever letter you left off of when it broke off, that was the letter of the person you would marry. So the same thing applies with the blowing of the seeds. So I thought that was interesting. Another dandelion charm for one who was separated from their lover was to carefully pluck a seed head and whisper a message into it. Then face the direction of the loved one and blow as hard as you can. If all the seeds flew at once, the message was received. So that's cool. Now, while the dandelion flowers mirror the form of the sun, it grows a long and deep taproot, reaching into the dark earth below to a greater extent than other plants of its size. These roots twist and wind in a manner similar to mandrake, and we'll discuss that later in this series. The very name dandelion is derived from the French dent de lion, referencing the tooth of a lion. And you can see this play out in the shape of the leaves, which are jagged like cat's teeth. And you can see that right here. So, yeah, so much lore. And we're not even done. Okay. Although it's used in contacting spirits, divining guidance, and wish-making, this plant also has a strong protective quality to it as well. Don't mistake it entirely passive or toothless, as its uses are both gentle and fearsome. Dandelions can forewarn of bad weather. If the blossoms close up before a storm, or the seeds fall from the head while there is no wind, it is a sure sign that rain is on its way. Now, to dream of dandelions was a bad omen, however. It could mean the deceit of a loved one, and that one had enemies. Though to keep the very first dandelion flower of the year meant you would have an abundant garden that season, and would kind of act as a fertility amulet of sorts. So you would want to keep that. Yes. Now, should you find yourself in need of a rubber band, this was super interesting. You can break the stem and spread the sap in a thin line. And once it's dry, it was actually really sturdy and can be tied into a band. And you could use that as a rubber band. Who knew, right? Now, dandelion was associated with the Irish spring goddess Brigid. Now, in the Scottish Highlands, the plant was called the plant of Breed, and Breed was short for Brigid. Now, some of the Gaelic names for dandelion translate to Byrnin Breed, the little notched flower of Breed, and the little flame of God. And Saint Brigid wore a dandelion at her breast so that sunlight followed. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I work with Brigid. In fact, I have a little statue of her right over there behind me. I've worked with her for 6 years now, and she's the reason I became a healer. So that's a little something, and I found that so interesting. I've known that for a while. In fact, when we go to personal uses, I'll expand on that a little bit. Now, let's get into folk medicine. Now, dandelion has been used as a strong diuretic for centuries, hence the name pissabed, right? Other uses were as a kidney and liver medicine, a spring tonic, a cure for jaundice, and to break up gallstones and kidney stones. Dandelion wine was taken as a kidney tonic specifically, and a cure for jaundice used dandelion leaves boiled in buttermilk. Dandelion leaves were used for anemia from Ireland, and the leaf tea was used for asthma. Also from Irish lore, it was thought that to be effective as a tonic, that men should use the leaves with the white veins. There we go, is another picture. And women should use the leaves with the red veins. So that's how you could tell which one was for which. Kind of cool. The leaves eaten in a bread and butter sandwich were an older cure for ulcers in Glencoe, Scotland. A use from Roy Vickery Dictionary of Plant Lore gives a first-hand account for dandelion tea, and it goes like this. First, they put a knife under it and lifted it from the roots. They saved it in the sun until it got quite hard. They boiled the kettle and poured boiling water on it, strained it, and put it into bottles. They then drank it, and it was very good for the nerves. Now, it was thought that if one could dig up the entire dandelion root without breaking it at the tip, that it could cure anything. If it did break, the devil was to blame naturally, as he was responsible for biting the root off. Naturally, right? Now, according to lore from Worcestershire, a glass of dandelion wine every day was helpful for longevity, and dandelion sap placed on the tongue was a cure for indigestion in Essex. Midwives from Fenland used to give a pain-killing cake to women in labor. This is interesting. A recipe says that this cake was made from wholemeal flour, hemp seed crushed with a rolling pin, crushed rhubarb root, and grated dandelion root. Can't make this stuff up. These were mixed into a batter with egg yolk, milk, and gin, and then poured into a tin and baked. Labor pain's gone. I don't know, maybe try it. Yeah. I don't know. But, the midwives from Finland swear by it. Okay, now on to current medicinal uses. Now, eaten raw or taken as an infusion, dandelion is an excellent blood cleanser and defends against minor poisons. Minor poisons. I don't know how we define what minor and major are. I don't know if I would trust that, but, take it or leave it. Now, the leaves can settle kidney and bladder problems, whereas the root aids blood circulation, helps to cure jaundice, and promotes a healthy liver. Dandelion leaves, boiled with sorrel, parsley, carrot, and onion, form a broth base that is settling to a bloated stomach. The juice from the stems is a soothing agent for bee stings, blisters, and warts. Stems, leaves, and flowers are best picked and used fresh from the roots that can be dried after harvesting and stored for up to 6 months. If ground, the roots can be stored as a powder and later made into a tea by adding boiling water. The roots are great for alleviating, preventing migraines, and the stems, leaves, and flowers are to be harvested between May and August, and the roots can be harvested between November and March. The infused oil from the flowers is a great massage oil for muscle pain and sore muscles. So if you want to make a nice infused oil, I would use a double boiler to prevent burning. I have learned that the hard way. So you want to get as many flowers as you can dried. I have learned that the hard way as well. So the dried flowers, and then you can use grapeseed, almond oil, jojoba oil, or olive oil. And you can do a warm infusion with a double boiler, put it in a pan, put your oil, cover it completely until the flowers are completely covered, and then put on a double boiler on low heat for 5 hours, and then strain, double strain in with cheesecloth and a metal strainer, and there you go. And put it in a nice jar and label it. Do not forget to label it. All right, now we're on to magical properties. The element is air, the gender is masculine, the planet is Jupiter, and the day of the week is Thursday. Now, I'm going to give you an alternate. The alternate planet would be the sun, and the alternate day would be Sunday, since it corresponds with the sun as well. Dandelion is useful in any sort of divination blend. The dried leaf goes well in teas, washes, incense, and powders for sprinkling with this specific intention. Blend dandelion with yarrow and rose for matters of love. Use in dream amulets for enhancing prophetic dreams. You can also use it in a tea with that intention. The dried flower will turn into a yellow fluff. You can use in solar amulets along with other plants of the sun, such as sunflower, calendula, oak, and St. John's wort. Make this amulet on a Sunday, and also add amber or gold for a mineral addition. You can also add the feather of a vulture, as that is a bird connected to the sun as well. This kind of amulet is protective in nature and can be worn by those suffering from seasonal affective disorder during the winter months, also bringing power back to those who have suffered from a depressing trauma. So that's a little something you can use. Dandelion is a plant of whimsy and enchantment and can be a great ally for children. The dried leaf and flower can be incorporated into any charm for bringing strength back to a child who has been sick or under stress. You can also include willow and rose for grief. The infused oil of the flower can be used as an anointing oil to lift the spirits and restore joy. Applied in an equal-armed cross on a child's or adult's chest, back of the neck, forehead, and wrists. The root, when dried, roasted, and ground like coffee, got some right here, is used to make a tea, and it smells so good. It smells like a good whole grain cereal, actually. This infusion will promote psychic powers. This same tea steaming and placed beside the bed will call spirits with that intention. I will say that. You know, if you just put it there, it's not going to do anything. I feel like you need to have that intention. Due to their ability to thrive in diverse environments, they can be utilized in rituals and spells of growth, transformation, and resilience. Lastly, dandelion can be used in emotional healing as it allows for a clearing of the body of unwanted emotions. It clears away old anger and fear that can be stored in the liver and kidneys. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, the leaf is wonderful. I like to use that in a lot of different teas. And I just, dandelion is one of those things that I like to add to just about everything. It's just such a wonderful thing. So I have a couple of teas here that I don't sell, but if you leave me a message, I can make a special order just for you. So it is a liver tonic tea and a kidney cleanse tea. I have that I specifically use for certain customers that come to me, or for myself, because I do have a kidney stone, one little tiny little kidney stone. If it starts giving me grief, then I make a kidney cleanse tea that has dandelion leaf in it. So I also have it in my headache and migraine tea. It is the root that I have in here. So when you do make this tea, I strongly suggest that you steep it for a long time to make it kind of a decoction, because that is gonna let that and the willow bark steep for a long time. That's also in here, to get the most benefits from that. And then I have the Sweet Dreams tea to give you those prophetic dreams. It's just got the leaf in here, so that is going to just, you don't need to steep it very long at all. It's also got mugwort and blue lotus in here. So excellent stuff. I also have it in my Break the Chain infused oil. And this is really good if you're trying to break any kind of habit, addiction. If you're wanting to cord cut, it is wonderful. And it is named after my favorite Fleetwood Mac song, The Chain. Yep. And it has licorice root, dandelion, St. John's wort, hawthorn berries, burdock root, skullcap, lemon balm, ginger, frankincense, vetiver, and black pepper. So this is strong stuff. Really helps you kind of break that addiction, break that chain. Yeah. excellent. I also use it. I talked about this in my comfrey video, my safe travel pouch for protection. And then the piece de resistance. This is my Bridget anointing oil, and you can see that I have right in here. Oops. Yes, it leaks. That's okay. My Bridget anointing oil. This is what I put on my candles when I anoint them. It's got dandelion root and a bunch of other things that I wrote down that I don't have readily available to tell you. Yeah, I made this and I love it. I know it's got cinnamon in it because I can smell it. Bunch of fiery sun herbs in it because she is a fire goddess. So had to show you guys this. It says Hocus Focus. I got this at Target a long time ago when they had their Halloween stuff out. I love this stuff and I use it every time I anoint my Bridget candles. So had to show you that since dandelion is sacred to Bridget. So that is dandelion. There's a lot of information, but it's such a powerful plant, magical, medicinal. There's tons of folklore. I hope you learned something that you didn't already know about dandelion. I know I did, and I found it fascinating. Please check out my website. I'll have these hyperlinks down in the description box on how you can purchase these. If you'd like one of the kidney cleanse or the liver tonic tea, let me know down in the comments and I will get with you and make you some special. If you'd like to book a tarot reading with my tarot reader, you can do that in my website. There's a special page, easy to find in my website. If you do shop my herbal store, please do remember to enter the code word, all caps, veiled, to get free shipping. That is a huge discount for my YouTube followers. Don't miss that. Don't miss out on that. That's a huge discount. You can also, if you'd like to, give a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content. I'm putting it out all the time. There's 1 card in 4 decks that I'm doing. I'm doing more deck reviews. I have lots of other things in store for you. So lots of good content coming. You can also financially support this channel by buying me a coffee. Details are down below. Super appreciate that. That helps me get going and support me and all of that good stuff. Yeah, other than that, live your best life and live for yourself. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.